Hi everyone, JB. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm Christina Thomas Dhanaraj, one of the co-founders of Dalit History Month. Thank you Dalit Women Fight, thank you Feminism in India for inviting me to speak a few words today. I think it's absolutely fantastic that Dalit women and allies are working together for such an event and through the month. This was how we envisioned Dalit History Month to be. And it gives me a lot of hope to know that this is how it's going to be for many years to come. I won't be taking too much time today. I do want to leave with you a few points though. I just want to talk about how Dalit History Month started and why we started it. As you all probably already know, the work towards Dalit History Month began in late 2014 and we launched the project in April 2015. And a key objective to why we wanted to do this was because an all-in-one account of Dalit history did not exist at that point in time. And whatever existed in the form of articles, stories, coverage of people, events, atrocities, etc., were mostly Savarna authored. So we wanted to create a piece of work that would be Dalit authored, but would also bring into focus not just violent acts of discrimination and atrocities that were taking place against the Dalit community, but also the struggle of the community in the form of how we've been resisting it, in the form of how leaders have emerged from this community, what have we been doing in the form of writing, poetry, music, art, literature. So we wanted to bring all of that into focus. In the long term, we did envision it to be a participatory project so that the entire community will find newer ways to access Dalit literature. So that was how it began. And today, everyone has taken this up and everyone does Dalit History Month in the best way known to them, and I do believe that's amazing. I believe that it gives us a lot of hope for the future. It has brought into focus what our communities have done and what they are doing as well. And so that kind of brings me to the second point that I wanted to leave with you all today. Now, over the past 1 month, as well as the past couple of years, we must have noticed that every time April begins, there are a lot of initiatives that keep happening, both virtually, both in the online space as well as in the offline space. And that is absolutely brilliant. But it's also important for us to know that as part of celebrating Dalit History Month, it's also important to celebrate Dalit history, Dalit present, right? There is no point. It does not make sense for us to just celebrate what has happened in the past. And it's not just about celebration. It also, is about events and atrocities that we want to remember and realize the amount of resilience and resistance that went into it from the communities. So there's one part of observing and remembering and celebrating what has happened, but there is also this need to celebrate what's happening right now. It's important to celebrate people who are working towards Dalit issues, people who are working in Dalit communities, for Dalit people, for Dalit women, for Dalit children, as we go about celebrating Dalit history. So I just want to bring into focus the importance of celebrating the Dalit present as much as we celebrate the Dalit history. Thirdly, I also want to leave with you the need that is there today to recreate history. And in fact, in many ways, I think we are recreating history. Whether it is the Dalit women's movement that's happening in different parts of India, whether it is in Tamil Nadu or in South India, or what AIDMM is doing, or what people in Gujarat and Haryana are doing, we are creating history as we speak. And it's important to realize that this is the history that we are going to leave for our next generation. So our future generations are going to be looking back at what we are doing today. And they're going to think, wow, that's what they did. that's the sacrifice, that's the work, that's the politics that went into it for us to enjoy the future that we have right now. So I just want us to be mindful of this, that even as we go about doing the work that we are doing, that we are creating material for our future generations to look back and to be inspired by, right? Which brings to my final point, that it is extremely important that we celebrate sisterhood, that we value sisterhood among Dalit women. And this is most often not talked about as much as it should be. And I believe for us to be creating Dalit women leaders who will be celebrated in the future, it is important that we realize what it takes for us to get there today. That might look like we celebrating the writings of our own sisters. It might look like we creating a conducive culture for all of our women to survive and thrive. It might mean that we help our women. It might mean that we let go of our differences, or we find a way to reconcile our differences and work together. That would mean that we join hands and take this march forward. It would mean many things in your contexts. But all I'm trying to say is that we need to be able to create leaders out of our movement. It's important to create cultures that will be conducive enough for our women to survive and thrive. And I think I will leave you all with these points, and I hope it makes sense, and I hope it rings a bell, and I hope it strikes a chord with you all. Wish you all a very happy, a very successful event. I hope you all have fun, and I hope you all make new friends, and I hope you're all able to celebrate your old friendships as well. Thank you so much for having me here. Jai Bhim.